Before we start, please support like the video and subscribe to the channel, please. Ancient history of Egypt, Pharaonic civilization. The First Egyptian Dynasty. The First Egyptian family ruled from 3200 BC to 3000 BC, and it is called with the Second Egyptian family the title of the era of the early families. Kings of the first family. The First Egyptian Dynasty was between 3100 to 2890 BC. The kings of the first family are considered the first dynasty of the Egyptian kings who ruled Egypt, which alone is MENA, north and south, or upper and lower. And after the pre-dynastic era, the Egyptian historical ages began with the beginning of this family. The city from which the kings ruled was the city of the Nile near Abydos, west of the Belina in Sohag, in Upper Egypt. The First Dynasty and the Second Dynasty are known as the era of the early Egyptian families, or the Thani era, relative to the city of Thani. There were cultural and commercial relations between Egypt and some other countries, and in order for these relations to be coordinated, features of the era modern scholars call the era of the First and Second Dynasties the Ancient Era 3200 to 2780 BC, or the era of the Flex, in relation to the city of Thani, the first home of the kings of this era, and among the most important monuments of this era, the mastabas. As each king of the first family built two mastabas, one in the north and the other in the south, so that one of them, perhaps the northern, would be a tomb for the king. And King Mena is also mentioned to build the capital of the state at the head of the delta, which is later Memphis. The Pharaonic retinue in the first Egyptian family encouraged various arts and industries. Parents were not satisfied with making machines and utensils from stone, bone, ivory, pottery and wood with their well-known accuracy, as it was in the pre-dynastic era. They even went beyond that to skillfully manufacture their machines of minerals, precious and semi-precious stones. We also find that the works of engraving, sculpture and coloring are great. We have witnessed since the beginning of this historical era the emergence of the art of medicine and the collection and authoring of religious texts. And the skill of architects appeared in the construction of royal tombs, and the use of limestone and granite appeared in construction. Hieroglyphs began to develop. The pharaohs recorded royal lists. They built their graves in the royal tombs in the cities of Saqqara, one of the villages, and Badrashan Center in Giza Governorate, and Abydos. There was also a huge development in the mud brick architecture of Nin, or Hierakonpolis, or the Redcom, located between Esna and Enfu, Abydos and Saqqara. Kings of the first family. Establishing the first family, the kingdom of Upper Egypt, tried to achieve the goal of unity with the Delta Kingdom, Lower Egypt, and it entered many harsh wars with it. The pin belonging to the king of Scorpion was discovered. The royal pin is a suppressor used by the kings of Pharaonic Egypt to strike the enemy, and important religious, political and war inscriptions were also engraved on it, as well as the King Narmer painting, which is in the Egyptian Museum today. They are considered one of the most important effects that show the wars that occurred between the two sides, for the king of Scorpio waged war on the people of the north and defeated them. But Narmer was the one who sought to achieve this unity between Upper and Lower Egypt. The evidence for the unification of MENA or Narmer of the two countries is its crowning with the white crown of Upper Egypt and Lower Egypt, and thus Egypt was unified in 3200 BC. Kings of the first family. Narmer or Mena is the first king in the first family. He was the first rulers and founders of the first family, and he was the one who united the two Egyptian countries. And his reign began from 3100 to 3050 BC. He is one of the figures who contributed to establishing the ancient history of Egypt. He also founded the city of Memphis, or Memphis, which is dead hostage now in Giza, to protect the country's unity. Horaha, second king of the first family. He is the ruler after King Narmer, and he is the second king of the first family, and he continued to rule for about 62 years, starting from 3050 BC. He is the third king of the first family in ancient Egypt, and he made many war achievements in the south in order to protect the country's borders. Digidemi assumed power around 2980 BC. He was famous for the funerary painting that was discovered in the 19th century. King Denhi is the son of Dudjit and ruled after him for 42 years, starting from 2970 BC. He was also the sixth king in this family and was buried in a tomb paved with granite. King Enlil. Many think that his father is King Dun, but there is no evidence for that. And he is the seventh king in this family who ruled from 2935 to 2925 BC. King Smart. There is ambiguity about how he came to power. But what is certain is that the collapse and weakness of the first family began when he ruled Egypt. We will meet you in a new story tomorrow, God willing. If you like the video, click like me and subscribe to the channel to receive all new